Okay, so I know it's only Tuesday and it's early for a Parsha thought, but since there's a thought that reminds me and pertains to Yom Hazikaron, I'd like to share it today, and that is in Acharei Mot, where we're told that the Kohen Gadol, which was Aaron at the time, for the Yom Kippur service, was to take two he-goats. One, Sair Hashem, was to be sacrificed up to God, and the other one, Sair Laazazel, which was to be taken through the wilderness, and a confession for the sins would be said over it, and it'd be tossed over the mountain. And in order to decide which one was to go to God and which one was to go to Azazel, because both of these he-goats were commanded they should be identical, they should look the same, weigh the same, have the same value, should be totally identical. So in order to decide which one would go to God and which one was going to go to Azazel, Aaron was to put do a gorel a lot, to put two papers in a box, one saying Sair Hashem and one saying Sair Azazel, and he'd take one out and put it on the goat to the right and one on and put it on the goat to the left, and whichever one said Hashem would end up being for an offering up to God, and the other one that says Laazazel on it, they would take a string and tie it around that goat so as not to confuse it with the other one, and that's the one that they would send through the wilderness and shove off the cliff. And as a matter of fact, they say that string was red, and if the sins of Israel were atoned for, it would turn white. And also, so the first idea that I want to share is one that I've taken from Rav Sachs, and first he starts by saying how Maimonides talks about that how this whole thing is symbolic, and that it represents the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Ra. Rav Sachs goes on to say that there's these two forces within us, one that drives us to do good and one that drives us to do bad. And I think sometimes those are indistinguishable one from another. I think goes back all the way from the Garden of Eden when we ate from that tree. We've confused, by virtue of us being able to rationalize and have our emotions and our intellect all confused into one. Sometimes we don't know what's driving us. It's indistinguishable whether we're doing something, because it's right and we think it's right, or because it's emotion driven. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between our Yetzer and our Tov and our Yetzer Ra. But the end of the day is when we sin and we're bringing a sacrifice and we know we've done wrong and we're admitting we've done wrong, so we know we did something wrong, and so we want to sacrifice that part of ourselves, and we want to be done with that. We say, okay, we did the sin, we know it's wrong, we want to disassociate with that, we don't want to go there again, we want to just throw that off the cliff. But then there's always a part of us that we did that, and we hold that experience with us, and what we have to do is our obligation is to take that and to use that to be a better person. We should use that in our service to God, in our service to man, in our service to becoming a better person. That's our obligation once we've done a sin. It's not done by taking it and getting rid of it. We have to take that now and be better and do better and offer that up. So that's one aspect. And I think there's another aspect that really resonates with me, especially on Yom Hazikaron. Aaron, he's told to do this after Acharei Mot, after we're told about the death of two of his sons. Aaron had 4 sons, and some of the Mefarshim say that 2 died as a kapara, as an atonement for the sins of the people of the golden calf. Either way, if you want to say that, or if you want to say for what they did by bringing that strange fire and they wanted to do something for God. Either way, the fact is Aaron had 4 sons, and when 2 of them died, and he was forced to deal with that. I think when people deal with a loss, that you always ask why these 2, and if it's an atonement, why these 2 sons as opposed to those 2 sons? What's the difference? I don't understand. These were good, upstanding, amazing. They were supposed to be righteous people, and there are other righteous people that do things wrong. Why are they taken? And sometimes we don't know the difference. Things can look the same. They can look indistinguishable. And I feel that now, when you look at and we remember these soldiers that died in battle, or the people that were taken in the piguim for just living in our country, and we look at them and we say, what's the difference between that person and me? Okay, same kind of family, same kind of upbringing, same religion, and sometimes even better, like our own son, that they do things like Roe Klein, that does things for unbelievable tzaddik, and why is he taken? And we don't understand, it seems like there's no reason between sometimes this person or that person, or even more so, that person was so amazing. Why were they taken? And we don't understand, and we mourn the loss. But I think that a hint towards that is when Aaron has to put the lottery into the box to show that, even though to us they're indistinguishable, when he chooses and he puts his hands in and puts one on one, he's leaving that part up to God, because God knows which one should do this job and which one should do that job. And that's why, if it didn't matter, because they're indistinguishable and one's just for this, one's just for that, they wouldn't need to tie the string around the neck. Because what's the difference? It's the same thing. So one goes to God and one goes to Laazazel, but there is a difference. There is a difference between one and the other, and that is which one God has chosen to have been a kapara at that point for the people. And then there's the other one who still has that job of the offering to God. And now what I want to say on Yom Hazikaron, when we remember all these people that died al Hashem, that were sacrificed, and we suffer that loss, that they've done more than their job. They're up there in heaven. They've completed their life's mission in a way that none of us have or never want to, but we have an obligation. We haven't done our part. To remember, to honor their lives is to take that part, okay, and to remember it and to be a better us, to be inspired by their lives, and to offer that up to God by taking what we can remember from them, that good, the good of who they were, the good of what they did, and let that change us. And that's our offering up to God, and that is our obligation still. And all of that is service to God. And we don't know why some are chosen this way and some are chosen that way. And sometimes I wonder, if the living, are more or less fortunate, because whatever, let's not go there, but, let's just honor the amazing, amazing people who have given us, sacrificed their lives so that we can have this beautiful country that I'm sitting in today. And even while I sit in my home with the restrictions, I know that I'm blessed, and I know that I owe these people everything for this country that we're about to celebrate in Yom Hazikaron. And let's honor their memory by being better people and living better lives and enjoying this gorgeous, amazing, blessed country. So with that, I part. And I hope you'll all have a good Yom Ha'atzmaut encounter. Blessings. Take care.